Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Crossing Borders. I'm Mike Ginn. That's Extremo Alex Soto. Of course, this show is brought to you on the Fighters First Network, fightersfirst.shop. Check out all the latest and greatest combat sports merch, including the shirt right below. Get your Crossing Borders merch, support the show. We would love you for that. Of course, Alex is down vacationing again. No, I'm just kidding. Well, he is kind of doing both, but he's there for work. LUX 20 tonight. We're getting this show in right before he takes the stage this evening and does his color commentary work with, of course, Francisco X. Should be a great show tonight. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to have a little bit of back and forth because, as you can see, I'm already laughing because me and Alex had a little bit off-air talk. We want to know, who is the greatest Mexican fighter of all time? This will be a little interesting debate coming from me and Alex. So we'll see. But first, Alex, how's your vacation going? Excuse me, work trip.
It's going great, man. It's going great. Just landed in Cancun last night. And, man, the weather's fantastic, man. It's freezing cold in San Diego. Just so you know, Mike.
Go ahead. I know what you're talking about. You tell them at home so they can ridicule you in the comments about what you mean that freezing cold is.
San Diego is like 57 degrees right now. It's ridiculous, man.
You know, the entire like middle of the country up through like the Northeast is all like gotten blizzard after blizzard, right? And you're gonna sit there and tell them about freezing cold?
It's freaking cold, man. Pay too much money to live in San Diego, man, for it to be below 60.
I think it was only 73 here yesterday, so I understand what you're saying.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I almost had to wear a sweater. It's ridiculous.
Man, they're going to cancel our show faster than Joe Rogan.
Oh, they're not going to cancel Joe, man. Come on.
Oh, no. I mean, this is getting a little off track already, but if you check out the latest episode of Art of MMA, that was a whole subject. I was I think no matter what that dude does, he's uncancelable. He'd probably have to go shoot the Pope or something. Like you can, like no matter what he does, people will defend him, and it's just crazy.
Cultural icon, man.
Huh?
He's a cultural icon, dude. It's like he's our Elvis Presley.
And now you're going too far. But what? I do think he has a major impact on a lot of lives, so people do defend him pretty quickly. I think there is something he could probably do to get canceled. I don't know what it is, but there's always a line. There's always a line. So hopefully he doesn't cross that line because he's already gone pretty far. But that's a whole nother subject.
Some girls, some girls comes up from the past or whatever, and
I don't even know.
What took Cosby will take Joe Rogan.
I don't even know if that'll happen because I'm not going to get sidetracked into politics. But we've seen
that's not politics.
It has turned political, unfortunately.
What?
But I haven't.
Okay.
I'm not going to touch that one because we know girls have come up in the past on certain politicians, and they're like Teflon. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It depends who has your back. It really depends on who has your back and how much money they have behind your back.
Okay.
Anyway, back to today's subject.
Right. What were we talking about?
Alex, once again, has no pants on. So we're talking about Alex being at the beach, enjoying his vacation, enjoying being back in the 80s. Have you gotten in the water yet?
Not yet.
Not yet? That's after the show?
First thing I've done this morning. I had my coffee. I said, we got to go do the Crossing Border show. So I came down to the outdoor lobby and sat here. So this is my first activity for me.
How did it feel holding the belt last night? I saw you take that picture holding the belt.
It's awesome, man. It's a sick belt, man. It's big. It's got some weight on it.
Just last episode, you announced your retirement finally after 4 years. Are you coming out of retirement? Are you coming out of retirement now?
That belt? I came down here and I don't really have I have my winter bod, even for San Diego. And I thought, man, it would take 30 pounds to get back into just the training shape, let alone getting into a ring and fight another man.
So what you're saying is former bantamweight Alex Soto is now fighting at middleweight.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to that. It's just so much work, man. But I do need to get back to my treadmill, though, for sure.
And don't we all? Anyway, so we come into this fight card, Alex, and we had a big fight line, and it's already canceled. what happened? What happened with Beltran and Francisco Patron?
All right, so it's kind of like the Khabib versus Tony.
Which one?
You know,
Which one of the 5
the
times
curse,
that got canceled?
the curse. It's like the curse. It's like the curse where it just can't seem to happen, man. So Patron now, last time was the one who actually pulled out because he had some issues during the weight cut. Now this time he popped positive for COVID, and so he was ineligible to participate into the event. So he got canned, which sucks, man, because it's such a good opportunity for this kid who's had so much momentum going into this.
When did that happen? Thursday?
I think last Thursday.
Because I know when we were getting ready to record our show, it was like still on the cards, and then all of a sudden it was just gone, and nobody said why, and I was just like, oh man. And it's one of those things which, you know, I'm not to want to toot our own horn, but we're one of the only shows really talking about a lot of this Mexican MMA, and you don't see it on the news. Like, why is this fight off? And nobody's talking about it. So we're telling you at home, that's why that big fight is now off, because Patron got COVID. Yep, exclusive. There you go. And maybe one of these days, Alex will bring on Jorge Masvidal or one of these people at the fight cards to get on the show as well. But you know, he's a little selfish. He wants the spotlight to himself.
You know, yeah. Well, I gotta be careful what I say because there's a few fighters around here. So
I'm not going to tell you all the stuff that Jose Shorty Torres told me to tell you.
But, oh shit! What did he say?
Well, that might be better for off air. But
that dude owes me his career. Well, actually, his start.
Well, let's just say there are some funny stories if you want to watch the unfiltered episode with Jose Shorty Torres about how Alex Soto over there taught the Bahrain guys English, or taught him Spanish. How he taught them Spanish.
They still say it to this day.
So now every time you go to Bahrain, if somebody comes up to you and says, "What up, puto?" That's thanks to Mr. Extremo over there, Alex Soto.
I totally added that to the Arab dictionary now over there. I mean, they're all saying it. It's hilarious. It's hilarious when you hear an Arab say it.
No, it was a good time talking to Shorty. He had a lot to say. Even off air about you too, by the way.
Cool. He's a cool guy.
Now he just wants Alex to pick up the phone when he calls.
Shit. Mr. Too Famous now. That's his problem.
Well, back to this fight card. So now we're headlined by Silva and Cabello going head-to-head. Featherweight championship on the line. Break that fight down for us a little bit. And who do you think is going to come out with that belt after tonight?
Man, it's going to be a tough. That's a striker versus striker. Perfect matchup. They're both very powerful strikers, and they like to stand it back like that. And I say that a lot, but really, you're not going to see a lot of laying and praying in this fight for sure. One of the things I see is Silva is just he's probably the stronger guy in the cage, but the more technical striker is probably going to go more towards Cabello. He's got tons of experience. You look at his record on Technology, you see a lot of MMA fights, amateur fights. I mean, he just has been in the cage. He's got a lot of time in the cage, and his aggression has stayed on top throughout the span of his career. So I think it's going to be a very technical performance for Cabello, but Silva has that young prospect, and it's it almost seems like it's his time right now. It seems like Silva has a lot of energy going into his momentum. He's stomped all the competition. I mean, he just destroyed everybody, and really has shown a little bit of his confidence in the cage, which I like to see. When I'm looking at guys that have that cage factor, I'm looking for guys that look very comfortable in the cage, and that Silva has that ability to stay comfortable, stay calm, and also stay extremely violent.
I think he has a weapon that Cabello doesn't have, is that he does have some good jiu-jitsu too. You've seen his last 3 finishes by rear naked choke. He's finished a bunch of people by RNC. So if he gets your back, it's also over too. So that's something to look out for as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not, obviously this is mixed martial arts, right? And both of these guys have, a really good structured ground game. They're not necessarily known for their ground game. It just happens to be that Silva's able to really, outstrike you, take you to the ground, and really put you away with a really good show. He was really slick with it. Saw him fight against Radlev in, I believe it was either 11 or 15 when he went out and was able to just dominate him the entire time. Was really just playing with him and then just put him away. And it was very just violent. He can really get really physical inside there and deliver a victory every time.
Yeah, I love watching the kid fight. I think he does have an extremely bright future. You think he takes home the title this tonight?
I think he's a favorite to win. I think I have him kind of taking the W tonight. But you can't take away that striking ability and that experience in the cage. So I'm hoping for fireworks in this fight.
And like you said, Cabello's no slouch on the ground either. He has a few choke out wins too, guillotines, triangles. So he knows a little bit about himself on the ground too. Both are pretty well rounded, but they like to stand and bang. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good fight, man. And it's going to be fun calling it. I'm going to be calling it in the Bull Arena here in Cancun.
Nice.
And dude, the stadium is like it's small, right? You got we're in the center, and it's a big round stadium that just goes up. Like I'm going to eye level. You'll have guys. It looks like everybody is on top of you, and you're in the cage. So it's really really cool.
Kind of like the way they build like a circus tent, like where everything's kind of like up, and then the show's in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're at the Shakespeare Stadium.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a cool experience to call those fights. And then after that, we're going to have some Mexican corridos, big concert afterwards. So it's going to be a blast.
So what else is going on in this card? What are some other fights we need to pay attention to tonight?
Oh man, shit! We've got Alan Dominguez is coming back. We saw him fight against Draco Cosillo. He didn't do so well in that fight, but he was able to now kind of. I just feel like he was just outworked by the amount of experience that Draco.
And now he's going against up and coming Briones, who's 4-1.
And Briones' jiu-jitsu is sick, man. Take a look at his jiu-jitsu stats, and he's got some really slick triangle chokes from the bottom. Tight, man. I think he's a Brazilian brown belt, and it's going to be a really interesting matchup because this one, stylistically, we got a striker versus a jiu-jitsu guy, and a very, very aggressive jiu-jitsu from David Briones. So.
Does Briones have some kind of other background? Because, at 33, he only has 5 professional fights. Has he done something else, like kickboxing or something else before this?
No, man. He's a jiu-jitsu guy. Like, jiu-jitsu? Freaking pure. Yeah. And, monster at it, dude. He's just, you see him using it in fights, and he kind of, there's, flashes of brilliance in being able to, you get a jiu-jitsu guy, and you get him in the cage, and then they're like fish out of water when they're getting punched, Yeah. But this guy, he's very aggressive, and he's got that ability to switch both of those things on, to mix being able to mix in the punches and the jiu-jitsu. He's got really good flow with it.
So for years, he was like a jiu-jitsu guy, and then finally made the jump to MMA in 2018.
Yeah. For 31 years old, he's not a young pup either,
Yeah. That's what I was wondering. I knew he had to have some kind of previous experience doing something, because you don't just kind of jump in and then have that kind of success as well. So he clearly had some kind of background going before that. You also got Cardoza versus Saavedra. I cannot say that name.
Saavedra.
Thank you, Saavedra. You got Romero, Camargo. You got the ladies going at it. Colmenares versus Vasquez.
Yes.
What do you expect out of that ladies fight?
Man, it's so tough to tell, because when the girls are going at it, they're so technical, right? When those punches are coming in, they're just like punches and bunches, right? Every time you see the girls go fight, and so they always put up the fight of the night every time you hear them, So I can never guess them, man, because they're just so evenly matched. Every now and then I'll get one that's pretty easy to spot, but this is going to be a good matchup, a good back and forth stand-ups. Both these girls come from Taekwondo background, boxing background, gyms, so it's going to be fights.
Looking forward to that. Any other fights we should watch?
Just keep on the Dominguez versus Briones fight. I think that's going to be sleeper fight of the night, just because the style of it. That's
is it in the co-main now?
Yeah, that's the co-main event now. Yep. Yeah. So take a look at that one. I think that one's going to be a very interesting fight to watch for fans watching. Also on ESPN, we're doing the LUX Challenge. We have our boy Vito Rubio, who fought in the Ultimate Fighter. He's going to be doing the headline there for LUX Challenge. And he's going to be taking on Paul Tierno Marquez, 7-8 versus 17-11.
Yeah, I was looking at that fight. A lot of experience in that fight.
Yeah, a lot of experience. And then, I was just watching Vito Rubio fight in the Ultimate Fighter when he fought against Jay Rodriguez, excuse me. And it was a tough fight up until there was that lightning fast combination from El Pantera, and was able to take him out. But it was pretty good even matchup back then. So he's got a lot of experience. Vito Rubio does, and he's got quite the experience to show and showcase. So it's a good addition to the fight card, especially if you're watching on the LUX Fight Challenge on ESPN
or UFC Fight Pass.
It's not UFC Fight Pass. It's ESPN. The LUX Challenge.
They're not going to show it on the Fight Pass, no?
No, you're not. You're not going to see that one on the Fight Pass.
Oh, okay.
So, but it will be on the LUX Challenge event, which is also going to be on. I guess we just signed a deal with ESPN.
Okay.
So, yeah. So we're getting on there, man. We're moving. Things are moving. They're looking good.
Nice. I'm also looking forward to I think it's kind of a sleeper fight too, because anytime you got some of the bigger guys going, and bigger guys in Mexican MMA is like welterweight, middleweight, but you got Romero and Camargo going in at welterweight. Both are like up and coming fighters. So I'm looking forward to seeing that one, because every time LUX puts on a fight with some bigger fighters, there's usually some fireworks. So I'm looking forward to that one. Like, that's gonna be my selfish Americana. Like, let me see that one, like, where they're just gonna go out there and try to do something crazy. So yeah, that's gonna be a fun fight. So that's tonight. It will be on UFC Fight Pass, but also ESPN Deportes and some other channels as well. So make sure you check out all your listings, check online. Make sure you go to LUX Fight League's website. They'll tell you exactly how to watch tonight's event. See Mr. Hollywood over here. Go ahead and do his thing tonight. Calling ringside with Francisco X Rivera. That'll be a great time. Now, that's tonight. But off air, Alex has made some comments about the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. Would you like to tell people who you think?
All time, obviously, hands down, is Oscar De La Hoya. Best boxer the Mexican boxer who's ever graced the ring in boxing. Prove me wrong.
Julio Cesar Chavez.
Julio Cesar Chavez. What about tell me what, is he an Olympic champion?
He's fought in Mexico. How about that?
What do you mean he's fought Mexico?
Oscar De La Hoya is born and raised in Los Angeles. He is an American Olympian, not a Mexican Olympian.
He's a Mexican American. He doesn't like to wake up early.
And he lost to Floyd Mayweather.
Well, who didn't lose to Floyd Mayweather?
Logan Paul.
Took your career. He took his career, you're right. God damn it.
Man, you could have said Barrera. You could have said
what are you talking
Manuel
about,
Marquez. You went with the American Mexican.
Oscar De La Hoya became the lightweight Olympic champion. He also became the featherweight Olympic champion. He also became the WBC boxing champion. I mean, come on, dude. What are you going to do?
Cain Velasquez came the first Mexican descent champion.
Cesar Chavez. Cesar Chavez. Julio Cesar Chavez. Was what he did is he beat a lot.
He went like 100-0.
Oscar De La Hoya beat the world. Dropped the mic. He was the best in the world.
Chavez went like 100 fights before he lost.
What's your point?
I mean, yeah, he needed some help with Meldrick Taylor, but other than that, he was like unstoppable. He's a cultural icon.
He is a cultural icon. I got you. I'm not arguing. That's not the argument here. The argument is who's the best Mexican fighter to ever
graced he's not Mexican.
The boxing arena. He is Mexican.
He's of descent. His parents were Mexican. He wasn't Mexican.
Of course he was Mexican.
He was born in Los Angeles. He was raised in Los Angeles, California, USA. He was an American Olympian.
Listen, he didn't cross the border. The border crossed him. You know what I'm saying? So he, by the laws of pure physics, he is Mexican.
Oh my God. There is no arguing with Alex Soto. Now I know everything Shorty Torres told me is true. There is no arguing with Alex Soto. There is wrestling, and then there's Dagestani wrestling. There's debating, and then there's debating with Alex Soto. And
there is, man. You can't beat the physics, man.
You can't beat the physics.
You can't beat the physics, man.
You can't beat the linguistics. You just can't. You can't go toe to toe with Alex Soto. It is what it is.
Greatest of all time. There you go.
All right, Alex. You enjoy the rest of your vacation, aka work trip. I'll let you get back to work. Get ready for fight night tonight. We'll get this episode up before the fights tonight, so you'll make sure you'll be able to see it, get our preview, and get everything. Make sure you head over to the shop, fightersfirst.shop. We got some great new collections. Got a couple new MMA fighters in there as well, so check them out. Of course, you got the Extremo collection going strong, so go ahead and check that out. And then go ahead and grab the Crossing Border shirt in there. We also got the Dia de la Muerta shirt in there as well. And, hey, Cinco de Mayo is not far away, and I know it's not really a Mexican holiday. It's really an American holiday, kind of like Oscar De La Hoya. But we might do a Cinco de Mayo shirt as well. So,
let's do it, man. Let's do it, of course. Sounds like a plan.
All right, Alex. You enjoy your show tonight. We'll make sure we catch it on Fight Pass and wherever else you can get it. This is Crossing Borders, and we're out.